Okay, very good afternoon, students. Total 12 students are live, and I think I am very much audible to you, and I am also viewable to you. Up till now, we have seen that what is the concept of data structure. Concept of data structure, we have seen the definition of data structure. Data structure is the branch of computer science that deals with how the data should be organized and how the flow of data should be controlled so as to reduce the complexity and increase the efficiency of algorithm, right? In today's lecture we are going to see what is the need of data structure, right? Once you understand what is the need of data structure, then you will understand what is why we are learning this particular subject, right? So let us see. Yesterday we have also seen that what is data. There are two types of data: atomic data and composite data. ठीक है. Okay, so today let us start with the first topic of our today's lecture. What is the need of data structure? What happens actually, a data structure helps you to understand the relationship of one data element with other. Means what? Whenever you store a data, there is one or more data items. Like for example, a list of roll numbers. When you say I am having a data, I am having a list of roll numbers. Those roll numbers are combination of one or more numbers. For example, roll number 1 to roll number 52. There are more than one roll numbers, right? So, and there is also a relationship between these numbers, like 1 will be followed by 2, 2 will be followed by 3. So, what is the need of data structure? A data structure helps you to understand the relationship of one data element with other data element. On the basis of this relationship, it helps us to organize the data within the memory. Once you understand the relationship between data, it will be helpful for you to organize the data within the computer memory. Sometimes the organization might be simple and can be clearly visible. For example, list of days in a week. Consider the list of days in a week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Again, Saturday is followed by Sunday. So, there is a clear cut linear relationship between the days of a week. So, when you are designing a data structure to store the days of a week, you have to choose a linear data structure. But sometimes the organization is not simple, like days of a week. For example, the location of historical places. The location of historical places is given by country name, which is again followed by state name, which is followed by city name and followed by historical place name. For the purpose of understanding, please see the diagram. In this diagram, India is a country which has different historical places like Gateway of India, Red Fort, Qutub Minar and Taj Mahal. When you have to show such type of information, you have to show such type of information in a hierarchical manner, where at the top there will be a country, below that there will be states, and below that there will be cities in which these historical places are there. Clearly, this type of data does not have a linear relationship. Rather, this type of data has a hierarchical relationship. So, there are different types of data existing in real life scenario. So you need to understand the relationship of one data element with other data element. That means you need to understand whether the data elements shows a linear relationship or a non-linear relationship. Once you understand this concept, there is a linear relationship among data and a non-linear relationship among data, then it will be very helpful to organize the data effectively and efficiently. And that is the target of our data structure. What data structure does? So let us see what data structure does. Data structure is a branch of computer science that deals with how the data should be organized, and how the flow of data should be controlled so as to reduce the complexity and increase the efficiency of our algorithm. Once you understand that data structure is useful in deciding how the data should be organized, and it is useful in deciding how the flow of data should be controlled. So this decision depends on what? This decision depends on real life scenario data. The data can be linear and it can be non-linear. So that is the need of data structure. Okay, next. Classification of data structure. Right. So let us see what are classifications of data structure. Second point is classification of data structure. Data structure is classified as linear data structure and non-linear data structure. What is linear data structure? Data structure where data elements are arranged sequentially. Sequentially means one after another. For example, days in a week. For example, month in a year. They are arranged in a some sequential manner. For example, your exam seat numbers. Okay, your exam seat numbers will be in a particular sequential, right? One seat number will be followed by another seat number, right? So what is linear data structure? A data structure where data elements are arranged sequentially is called as linear data structure. So what is non-linear data structure? The data structure where data elements are not arranged in sequential or not arranged sequentially is called as non-linear data structure. Okay, data structure where data elements are not arranged sequentially is called as non-linear data structure. Can you give me example of non-linear data structure? Okay, non-linear data structure can be considered as the hierarchy followed in your college. In your college, the hierarchy is followed as principal sir will be at the top. Below principal sir there will be several department HODs. Under these HODs there will be several class teachers, and under these class teacher there will be several classes, right? So but obvious it is a hierarchical data, it is not a linear data. So whenever you say data is hierarchical, we say in a simple term it as a non-linear data structure. Can you give me another example of non-linear data structure? Another example of non-linear data structure we have just discussed in previous slide, that is the data of historical places. The data of historical places which are represented as country name, state name, city name, and then followed by historical place. So but obvious linear data structure is a sequential, and whereas non-linear data structure is not sequential. Again, in your syllabus there are different data structure you are going to learn. So these data structures are divided into linear data structure and non-linear data structure. So linear data structure, examples, stack. Stack is a data structure which is an example of linear data structure because it is capable to store the data which is already available in a linear fashion. Right. Another example is queue. Queue is also a data structure which is example of linear data structure followed by linked list. Okay, so stack, queue and linked list are the examples of linear data structure. What about non-linear data structure? Tree is an example of non-linear data structure and graph is also an example of non-linear data structure. If you remember, these are nothing but our future chapters. This is right now we are learning chapter number 1. Chapter number 2 is about searching and sorting. Chapter number 3 is about stack and queue followed by linked list. Chapter number 4 and chapter number 5 is tree and graph. So what we are learning in this subject? We are learning different data structures like stack, queue, linked list, tree and graph. So this is the about classification of data structure. Moving forward. Now coming to the main and the toughest thing to understand in data structure. Abstract data type. Okay. From C language you already know what is data type. Okay. What is data type? What is data type in C language? Can anyone tell me? What is data type in C language? Data type means the type of variable in which you are going to store the value. You are going to store the data. Right? Data type means, for example, if you want to store a number 1, 0, 10, then what type of data you require? You require the type of data as integer data type. Okay. Integer data type. Okay. So integer data type you require. Right. So that is data type. Now we are going to learn about abstract data type. What is ADT? Okay. What is ADT? Abstract data type is defined as mathematical model of data type. Abstract data type is defined as mathematical model of data type. What is mathematical model? Mathematical model is nothing but a formula. Right? Mathematical model is nothing but a formula. For example, y is equal to mc, y is equal to mx plus c. What is this formula says? This formula says about what? About a straight line, right? For example, y is equal to mx plus c, right? Mx plus c. If you remember your mathematics, then this is the formula for a straight line, right? If you plot x and y coordinates and you follow this equation, then you will get in the graph a straight line, right? So this is a mathematical model of a straight line. In this abstract data type we are talking about mathematical model of data type. Mathematical model of data type means what? Abstract data type is not actual implementation. Abstract data type is not actual implementation. It is a mathematical model. Whenever we say it is not actual implementation, what we mean? We mean that we are not going to write a C program in abstract data type. We are going to write just a mathematical model on pen and paper. Right? We are going to write a mathematical model on pen and paper. Right? For example, you are going to solve some mathematical equations. Those equations you can solve on pen and paper. You don't require any computer. You don't require any software to solve a mathematical problem. You just require the correct formulas and pen and paper to solve a mathematical model. In the same way, when you are going to when you are going to solve a mathematical model, then what happens? One second. In the same way, when you are going to create a new type of data, that is new data type, at that time you are directly not going for coding. First, what you are doing, you will be doing a mathematical model of that data type. You will be doing a mathematical model of that data type, right? So what is that mathematical model? We will see, right? Okay. So that mathematical model is nothing but this mathematical model has data objects, right? Data objects. Objects, you can consider it as a data item, right? That makes up a data type, right? That makes up a data type means these data items combined together will be preparing a new data type, right? So what abstract data type has? It has data objects that make up a data type as well as as well as as well as the functions that operate on these objects, right? So what is an abstract data type? Abstract data type is a mathematical model of data type. What it has? It has a data object or data item that makes up data type as well as the functions that operate on these data objects. ADT acts as a useful guideline to implement a data type correctly. Whenever you are deciding to implement a new data type, whenever you are deciding to introduce a new data type, before writing a program, before writing a code for this new data type, what you are going to write? You are going to write ADT. What is ADT? ADT is nothing but abstract data type. ADT is not actual implementation of data type. To implement ADT, we need to write a program in any programming language. We need to write a program in any programming language like C, C++, Java, whichever program you want to choose. For example, int data type can be considered as implementation of mathematical model of concept of integer numbers. In mathematics, we have the concept of integer numbers. Yes, what is this model of integer number says? Integer numbers are from minus infinity to plus infinity, right? These are the numbers, and how many functions I can operate on these numbers, how many operations I can perform on these numbers. For integer number I can perform addition, for integer number I can perform multiplication, for integer number I can perform division and multiplication. So if I write a C program in such a way that I am introducing a new data type, before writing a program I will prepare a mathematical model of this same thing, and how to do that, let us see. So before before going to the example of int data type as abstract data type, please try and understand data type is different, data is totally different, abstract data type is totally different. Data type we already have in C programming language. Abstract data type, we are going to prepare a new data type which are not present in C programming language. We directly don't go for code, we directly don't go for coding. We first prepare a mathematical model of the same. How the mathematical model is prepared? The mathematical is prepared. First we decide what data items it will have. Then we decide what operations can be performed on these data items. Once this decision is made on a pen and paper, this thing is called as abstract data type. This thing is called as abstract data type. Okay, I hope you understand. Moving further, int data type example, right? Int as an abstract data type. Can you understand int as an abstract data type? Int data type we already have. What C program developers have done when preparing a C program, when creating a new language, they have decided to create a new data type called as integer data type. So they don't directly go and code for this data type. They first prepare abstract data type on pen and paper. How they prepare this abstract data type using pen and paper? Let us see. Int data type in C programming language provides a mathematical model of integer number. In mathematics, we already have integer numbers. So this mathematical model is implemented in C programming language as int data type. ADT of integer number can be defined as set of all integer numbers like minus infinity to plus infinity, and operations that can be performed on integer numbers are addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. These are the operations which I can perform on integer number. I hope you understand int as a abstract data type. Can you write float as an abstract data type? Float as an abstract data type. When we say float as an abstract data type, we write here float, right? We write here float, and then what we do? Float instead of int, I will say float. Float data type in C programming language provides a mathematical number of floating numbers. Floating numbers means point numbers, 10.20, 10.30, 10.50, these numbers. Okay. So abstract data type of floating numbers can be defined as set of all floating numbers like minus infinity to 10 minus 1.5, minus 1, 2.5, 0, 0.0, 1.0, 2.5, like this. Okay, and operations that can be performed on floating numbers are same. Addition can be performed on floating number, subtraction can be performed, multiplication can be performed, and division can be performed. Okay, so in this way you can write abstract data type, that is a mathematical model of any data type. When you are writing abstract data type of any data type, you do two things. What are these two things? What are these two things? We do. These two things are nothing but CL. What we do? An abstract data type is defined as mathematical model of data type. Yes sir, we understood that it is a mathematical model and it is a mathematical model of data type. But sir, what it has? It has two things. It has data items or data objects and the functions which can be operated on these data objects. Once you are able to write using a pen and paper, sir, I have created a new data type in which this is going to store, right? This particular thing is going to store. For example, consider example of date as a data type, right? Date we already know. What is today's date? I think 3rd of July. Okay, how you write 3rd of July? You write 3rd of July as 3rd 310 37 2020, right? So can you prepare an abstract data type? Yes, abstract data type of date will have three different things. It will have day, month and year, right? It will have day, month and year, right? What data objects it will have? It is decided. What functions I can perform on this data item? What operations I can perform on this date data type? I can perform only subtraction operation. Why subtraction operation are required on date operation? To find out the difference of number of days between two dates. For example, today's date is 3rd July 2020. If you consider another date 3rd July 2019, what is the difference between these two dates? The difference between these two days is 365 days or 12 months or 1 year, right? So we require to calculate the difference between number of days so as to calculate the difference between these two dates. So abstract data type is nothing but a mathematical model. If you understand each and everything, it is good. If you don't understand, just mug up these two lines, these two definitions. That is, abstract data type is defined as mathematical model of data type. It has data objects that make up data type as well as functions that operate on these data objects. Okay. Okay, good, very good. Then we can stop here. If you are understanding each and everything, I can take one more topic, that is tag as an abstract data type. If you are really understanding abstract data type, then we will go further. If you are not understanding, then please tell me in the chat then we will stop. I will give you 30 seconds. Please reply in the chat box. Please reply in the chat box whether you want to continue with the stag as an abstract data type or we should stop here. What is abstract data type? You already know. Abstract data type is a mathematical model. Abstract data type is a mathematical model. ठीक है. All the students are saying that you are understanding the concept of abstract data type. You are understanding that abstract data type is a mathematical model. It is not a C program. It is just on a pen and paper we are writing what this data type will have and what operations I can perform on data type. So can we learn stag as an abstract data type? Yes. What is required to learn stag as an abstract data type? Two things you require. Sir, what you are going to store in the stag, that you have to define, and what operations I can perform on a stag, that you have to define. Okay, so let us see stag as an abstract data type. Stag as an abstract data type can be defined as a mathematical model of finite sequence of elements. There cannot be infinite elements stored in the stag. Limited number of elements can be stored in the stag. Finite sequence of elements of any particular type. We are not saying that, sir, we are going to store only integer numbers in the stag. No. We are not saying that we are going to store only characters in the stag. No. We are not saying that we are going to store only float numbers in the stag. We are saying elements can be of any particular type, but the elements will be of one type, right? For example, you decided to create a stag of int numbers. For example, you decided to create a stag of int numbers, then you have stag of integer numbers, right? So what is stag as an abstract data type? Stag as an abstract data type can be defined as mathematical model of finite sequence of elements of any particular type. The following operations can be performed on a stag. Right? Once you decided what is going to store in the stag, then we have to decide what operations I can perform on the stag. So the following operations can be performed on a stag. Number one is initialize. Number one is initialize. Initialize the stag to be empty. Initially, the stag will be empty. Initially, the stag will be empty. Second operation is empty. Empty. Empty means what? Second operation says that using this operation we can find out whether the stag is empty or not. We can determine that stag is empty or not. Third operation is full. Using this operation we can find out whether your stag is full or not. Why these two operations are required? Initialize is very easy to understand. Once you are creating a new data type, you are going to store the data type. So initially anything will be empty, and in that empty data type you will store some data, right? So initialize is very simple to understand. Empty means you are just checking whether your stag is empty or not. Why it is required, we will see. Full means what? You are just checking whether your stag is full or not. Why it is required to check your stag is full or not, we will see. Fourth operation is push operation. What is push operation? If stag is not full, if stag is not full means what? So you require to check whether your stag is full or not. That is your third operation. Now you understand why you require to full and empty operations, right? Full operation you require before filling up a new data in the stag. You have to check whether the stag is already full or not, right? Before filling up a new item in your lunch box, you have to check whether your lunch box is full or not. If your lunch box is already full, you cannot keep extra laddu in your lunch box. Getting? If your lunch box is totally full, then you cannot keep extra laddu in your lunch box, right? So you need to check whether the stack is full or not before performing the push operation, right? So what does the push operation does? The push operation add a new element. The push operation add a new element from one end of the stack, called as top. At the topmost end of the stack, this element will be stored. But before storing the element, we have to check whether the stack is full or not. Last operation is pop operation. Pop operation means if stack is not empty, if stack is not empty, then remove an element from one end of the stack as top. If stack is not empty, then remove an element from one end of the stack. So before removing an item from the stack, you have to check whether your stack is empty or not, because from an empty stack you cannot remove anything. If your lunch box is empty, can you eat anything from it? If your lunch box is empty, can you eat anything from it? No, we cannot eat anything from it because your lunch box is empty. There is nothing in the lunch box, right? So in the same way, if stack is empty, then you cannot remove anything. So before removing an element from the stack, you have to check whether your stack is empty or not. So what is pop operation? Pop operation first checks whether the stack is empty or not, then remove an element from one end. Remove an element from one end called as top. It removes an element from one end called as top. Okay. The above definition of stack produces the concept of stack as an abstract data type. So in example, up till in MSBT board exams, up till now they have asked write int as a data type and write stack as a data type. They have not asked us to write linked list as a abstract data type. They have not asked us to write tree and graph as a abstract data type. Up till now they have asked us to write int as an abstract data type and stack as an abstract data type, of which whose answers we have covered here. I hope you are preparing for next lecture. This lecture we conclude here. In next lecture we will see concept of data structure is completed, need of data structure is completed, abstract data type is completed, classification of data structure is completed, linear and non-linear, these are two types of data structure, that topic we have completed. Then what remains? 2 points remains: algorithms and complexity of algorithm, 1 point. Second point is operations that can be performed on data structure, right? So for these 2 points we may require another 2 lectures. So after completion of another 2 lectures you will be completing this chapter number 1. So this particular today's lecture was little bit tough to understand. This recorded video will be uploaded till tomorrow 11 a.m. and it will be processed. It will be available on YouTube tomorrow 11 a.m. So you go on repeatedly watching this video, and still if you don't understand anything, you can directly ask me in the comment box, or you can directly WhatsApp me if you have number of mine, and then we will again take one or more lectures to understand and grasp the concept of abstract data type. Okay. ठीक है. So this video is brought to you by MatMock.in. It's simple, point, click and learn. Okay. So please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. In a very short time we are going to start more online lectures on different topics. If time permits and if everything goes fine, then we will be conducting live lectures on another subject also. So you can please type your comments which subject you want to learn, which subject you are thinking that it is a very tough subject and I want to learn this subject. We will start a new series for that at different time. This online lecture will be continued. Apart from this lecture we can conduct one more lecture for another subject. So for which subject you want an online lecture, please tell me in your comment box. and we will start a new series for that. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, then what will happen? Then you will get the notification. Okay, then you will get the notification when my live lecture is there. Okay, bye. Thank you.